Like, this to me is like Lane Kiffin with his offense, where Lane Kiffin makes a difference with his play calling. It's the same thing with Brent Venables. He makes a difference with his play calling. So I want to move on to Oklahoma and their impressive win over Alabama here. I think you have to give a round of applause to Brent Venables. Brent Venables, I believe, is an outstanding coach. It's taken him a little bit to build his program at Oklahoma, but this thing is built, and I think that they're going to be here to stay. And this is a program, and this is where I think you have to give Venables credit, that when they were announced that they were going to the SEC, everybody looked at them and said, oh, they're going to be the bottom feeders of the SEC. They're not going to be able to compete in that conference. Well, not only are they competing, they're walking into Tuscaloosa and beating Alabama. Brent Venables against Alabama the last 2 years, 2-0, and with a win in Tuscaloosa. That is wildly impressive to me. So, and not only that, when you look at the defense that he called against Alabama, holy cow, this guy put on an absolute masterclass defensively. He carried, and this is the thing, we talk about coaches being able to carry their teams to victory. That defense carried that Oklahoma team to victory. And a big part of the reason why that defense played as well as it did was because of Brent Venables' play calling. The offense for Oklahoma, we know what it is. It's an unbalanced offense. You have some pieces that you really like on Oklahoma. I really like Mateer. I really like Deion Burks. I really like Satania. I really like these guys. But their run game is not good. And I think that their offense gets a bit predictable at times. To me, it's an offense that doesn't have very many ways to beat you. But is it an offense that's good enough to score 21 points if the defense allows 20, which they're absolutely capable of doing? Yeah, it is. And that's where you have to give Brent Venables credit, because he is one of the coaches in the entire country that is legitimately making a difference on the field when it comes to what he's doing as a play caller and the way he's dialing things up. You have to give him credit there. And Ty Simpson had a good game in this one, but what happened? Venables dialed up something, and Ty Simpson didn't read it right, and he threw an interception, pick six. That was the difference in the game. So, again, I just think it's so underrated when it's, to me, not underrated. It doesn't get talked about enough when you have a coach on the sidelines that is legitimately making a difference on what they're doing on the field. Every team, right, when they're on the field, if you have a good coach, they're going to play up to their talent level or even better. But when you look at Brent Venables, right, and what he's doing, scheming things up, it's different from that perspective. Like, this to me is like Lane Kiffin with his offense, where Lane Kiffin makes a difference with his play calling. It's the same thing with Brent Venables. He makes a difference with his play calling. And to me, this is a program that's heading in the right direction. And the problem with Oklahoma over the past few years is that they just haven't got that quarterback position right. Now they got the quarterback position right. Even though the offense still isn't that good, they at least got a guy that, he's good enough. And I really like Mateer. I really like him. I think he's a good player. He's a guy that, even though the pieces around him aren't amazing, they're not that great, he could still make things happen with his legs, even if the running game isn't playing well or isn't doing what they have to do. And he's a guy that can get the ball to his receivers down the field. Like, from that perspective, this team, to me, they're a team that could beat any team in the country outside of Ohio State. Like, Oklahoma can beat any team in the country outside of Ohio State. That's just the way I feel about them. Now, would I pick them in every game outside of Ohio State? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't pick them, but I would say they have a chance. It's not one of those games that I don't watch because, I think that it's going to be a lopsided game. They can beat Indiana. They can beat Georgia. They can beat Ole Miss. They can beat these teams. Not saying they're going to, but they can. And that's why, to me, it's a no-brainer. If I was on the college football committee, it's a no-brainer that they should be in the college football playoffs. They played their way there. They only have 2 losses in this SEC that, people thought they were going to have a really difficult time only losing 2 games this year. They're at that right now, and I like their chances in their last 2 games. And even if they drop one of these games, they deserve to be in the college football playoffs. That's just the way I feel about this team. And do I think they're going to? No, I don't think they're going to lose those games. They're going to be in the college football playoffs, and they're going to be a pain in the butt for everybody in the country outside of Ohio State. Even Ohio State, they're going to be able to, dial up some things defensively that could give Ohio State maybe a little bit of problems. But Ohio State's defense would just be way too much for Oklahoma's offense. I don't think Oklahoma would be able to move the ball in that defense. So, that's where I'm at with Oklahoma. I'm there. This is a college football playoff team. This is one of the better teams in the country. They're one of the better teams in the SEC. Are they going to make the SEC championship game? I don't know, because they do have 2 conference losses, and that's going to hurt them. This isn't like Texas going into yesterday's game. They had 1 conference loss, so they had a chance to make it happen in the SEC. But we saw what happened yesterday. They got absolutely blown out. And if you're a Sooner fan watching this, you probably enjoy me saying that they got absolutely blown out. But that's the thing. That's what kind of hurts them, is that they have the 2 conference losses compared to an out-of-conference loss and 1 conference loss. So, they stand a chance here. How far can they go in the playoffs? They can go far, because what do they say? Defense wins championships, and they have a defense that can get them to a championship. I'm just not willing to say that they're going to compete with Ohio State. But if you're Oklahoma, if you get to the national championship, I think you got to look at that as a big time win as a program, and look at that as a step in the right direction as to where they're going as a program. And this win against Alabama, that's impressive as it gets. You go into Alabama, one of the hottest teams in the country, in Tuscaloosa, it's extremely difficult to play in, and you gut out a victory like that. Says a lot about the coach, says a lot about the players on that team, says a lot about that program. And credit to them. I'm happy for Oklahoma. I really am.